Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kat. For today's video, I will be doing the New Year's book tag. I know now we're in February, so technically the new year has passed, but we're still at the beginning of the year, so who cares? I have a list of about 17 questions, and I will have these questions in the description box below if you'd like to follow along. Let's get started. Question 1 is, how many books are you planning on reading in 2026? I have set my Goodreads reading goal for 35 books this year. Last year, I set it for 30 books, and I was able to exceed it. I think I ended up reading 38 books. So I feel very comfortable with 35. I think I'll be able to do it this year as well. I don't set exceptionally high reading goals just because I know how much I'm able to read. Usually in the middle of the year, I end up going through a reading slump. I would go months of just not reading. Obviously that deters me from completing my goal. That's why I tend to keep my reading goals a little bit lower. Question 2 is a book you're likely to reread this year. For this, I have The Will of the Many by James Islington. I am most likely going to reread this book this year because I did read this book 2 years ago. I was also not in a good place when I was reading that book. There was just one too many stressful events happening in my life at the time, so I couldn't really enjoy it. I do feel like this is a book I will enjoy, so I'm willing to give it another try so I can actually have a proper reading experience. Question 3 is a priority read on your 2026 TBR. I have Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I have been wanting to read this series for so many years now. It's just been sitting on my shelves collecting dust, but I am going to make an effort, a conscious effort, to read this book. I have The Assassin's Blade on my TBR to read first. I'm planning to do an individual reading vlog for it as well. I've never read anything by Sarah J. Maas. I hear that this is a good series to get a taste of her writing style because it does change in the later half of the series. So you kind of see how she was writing at an early stage of her career and then later. I definitely want to understand the hype and hopefully enjoy it as well. Question 4 is an author you won't be reading more books from this year. So for this, I have Barry Lyga, who is the author of the I Hunt Killers trilogy. I just have so many issues, and I've talked about it in previous videos if you want to go ahead and take a look. I just didn't understand why this author had to write about particular topics that I don't think he has a lot of knowledge in, and also why he wrote some characters in a certain light. Other things that the author talked about I just felt like didn't really fall within his area of expertise, such as talking about Jasper's girlfriend, Connie, who is an African-American girl, and her relationship with her hair and her being the only Black girl, or her family being the only Black family in this town. Very specific things that can only really be told from the lens of somebody who has that experience. I really doubt Barry Lyga, being a white man, has that experience, so it's just really odd to have him write about that. Of course, if he did his research, then wrote about it, that's one thing, but there was no mention of him speaking to people with these lived experiences. I just don't see myself reading anything from him in the future. Something new you want to read. I do definitely want to break into the romance and romantasy genres. I've tried reading a few romance books. It just doesn't pull me in. I know romantasy is such a huge genre, so is romance, and I just hear so many good books that have come out from those genres, and I do want to read a good book. Definitely want to dip my feet in, try all these popular authors that readers love. Sci-fi is another one that I want to get into more. I feel like it might be a genre that I will come to love. I definitely have been exploring the thriller genre more. My two authors that I've enjoyed the most are Riley Sager and John Mars. I'm hoping to explore more thriller authors. Question 6 is a popular book that you want to read. I have not read Fourth Wing yet, and again, it's another series that's been collecting dust. I have all the books, the first 3 that have come out so far. It is one that I want to also see what the hype is about. I feel like it might be one I will enjoy. Question 7 is most anticipated 2026 book release. A Trade of Blood, which is book 3 in the Shadow of the Leviathan series by Robert Jackson Bennett. A Drop of Corruption was one of the most perfect books I have ever read. I'm so excited for the 3rd book, and I'm just hoping that will be just as enjoyable of an experience as the 2nd book was. Another one is Heartstopper Volume 6. I think this is the last volume in this series, which is really sad. I read the first 2 Heartstopper books and loved them. I love Nick and Charlie and just how they're exploring their own selves and their feelings and relationship. It's just so sweet. Question 8 is a bookish goal for 2026. One thing I really want to practice this year and just going forward is to read slower. Try not to skim as much, even if it's a book that I'm not particularly enjoying. Last year, I did so much skimming. Like, I would rush through books just to finish it. I want to focus on the journey of reading a good story versus just trying to get to the end and mark it off. This year, my plan is to just take my time and just let the experience breathe. A book on your TBR that you probably won't ever read. Every book that I've bought, I will eventually read it. I may not read it right away after I purchase it. I may not read it maybe 5 years after I purchase it, but it will eventually get read. It'll just take its time. Question 10 is a series you want to read this year. I have Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. I've heard such phenomenal things about this book series. So many people have loved it. These are chunky books, but even so, people have really enjoyed reading them. And the next one I have is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Everyone seems to love this series a lot. The last book supposedly is going to come out this year. I just want to catch up with everybody else. Auto by authors going into 2026. The authors that have come to mind are Alice Oseman. I have enjoyed whatever Alice Oseman has put out so far. I also have Robert Jackson Bennett. I know that he has 2 other completed trilogies that are published, and I do want to read his backlist just to get more from him. I also have C.S. Beckett. Definitely enjoyed Captive Prince last year when I read it, and I've enjoyed Dark Rise and Dark Air. And of course, the Queen, Nora Sakovich. I loved All for the Game when I read it last year. It is one of my favorite series of all time. You can tell when authors care about the story and care about their characters. You can tell when they've put care and passion into it. And I can definitely feel that when I read these books. Book to show adaptation that you're excited for this year. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like there's an announcement of an adaptation coming out every month. I have heard about so many movie or TV show adaptations. I just feel like show producers and movie producers are getting a little lazy because it seems like they're just adapting books now. I don't even keep track of it because there's so many. Question 13 is sequel you are anticipating this year. Once again, have A Trade of Blood on this list of most anticipated sequels. And I also have A Ballad of Sword and Wine Volume 7. I read the first book already, and it was such an amazing, amazing, amazing book. I have fallen in love with this story, with these characters. It was so freaking good. I have no doubt as I continue my journey into the series, I'm gonna love every single volume that I read. I heard there's 8 volumes that are supposed to come out, so it's kind of sad that we're nearing the end. 14 is bookish things you're leaving behind in 2025. First one that comes to mind are book hauls. I honestly just find them so tedious. I don't care to make a video about the books that I've bought anymore. It's just, I don't know, it's just tiring because most of the time I don't even know what the books are about. So like trying to explain the premise is a little vague, but I like watching book hauls. I just realized I don't like doing book hauls anymore. Question 16 is how your reading taste has evolved since last year. I would say one thing I noticed is that I'm not afraid to read longer books. I used to be intimidated by them mainly because I feel like if I don't like the book, I'm going to be stuck reading a book I don't like. And it's just so long. For me, I can only read one book at a time. I'm not one of those experienced readers where they can read multiple books at a time. My fear is if I'm in the middle of reading a lengthy book and I'm just not enjoying it, then I'm gonna still try to finish it because I have OCD. I'm just gonna have to push myself through this long book, not enjoy it just to get to the end. Now I've learned to just appreciate the journey of reading a book versus getting to the last page. And 17 is something you want to say to someone who's planning to start a bookish account. I will say the same thing I've said before, which is it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need to have the right camera and the right equipment. A lot of us, we've just started with our phones. And don't feel pressured. I think that's something that can happen when you're making a bookish account and you're in this niche space of YouTube, is you can feel a lot of pressure to read certain books so you can have engagement. Don't feel like you have to just because you see it online and you see other booktubers reading these books. Like if it's not your taste or you feel like it's not the time for you to read it. When a lot of people are reading a book, I naturally just don't read it and I don't feel bad about it. I'm gonna read it later. It's just not the time for me to read it yet. And don't feel pressured to make certain content that you don't want to or you don't feel comfortable with. If it's not something that you feel aligned with and you don't want to make a certain video. Also, I want to point this out, don't feel pressured to read a lot of books. This is something that I noticed a lot, is where people have like these goals of reading and they really beat themselves up if they don't reach a certain reading goal. Reading should be fun. It shouldn't be a numbers thing. Read when you want. If you're going through a reading slump, don't force yourself to read or you're gonna hate it. Lastly, have fun. I love being part of the bookish space. I've been here for maybe like 10 plus years now. I don't really care about growing it. I just like making the videos and just putting it out there. Just have fun with it, connect with people, build and grow your community if you want. That is the end of this book tag. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you'd like to do this book tag, again, I have the questions in the description box. Let me know what you are reading and if you have any 5-star books or books you've really enjoyed so far. Please, again, take care of yourself, take care of your mental well-being, take care of each other, and I will see you next time. Bye!